All right, I'm gonna show you guys how to waterproof these screens. This is off my 2017 Foreman electric shift, but I've done this on my Pioneer 500 and my Pioneer 1000 and several other Hondas. One of the key things is to make sure you take the screen all the way out of the machine so you can do it properly on the bench. If you try to fight and do it in here, it probably won't come out good because there's not enough slack on the cable. So to remove the screen, you take out 1, 2, 3. There's one down there. Phillips screws. I just throw everything in here. Take out those Phillips screws, and then take out the plastic snaps that go down there. Those black guys. And then you can start to pull the screen out. But the hardest part is to get to the connector on the back of the screen. The connector is plugged in way down here. You see that gray connector that's unplugged? So you got to pull off these 2 pins, reach under there, and get the connector off. It's kind of tricky. It's got this lock tab right here, which means you have to remove this little plastic location snap from the connector first before you can unplug it. If you don't remove this, you will be fighting with this connector all day long. I know a lot of people have done that and know what I'm talking about. So yeah, remove that little black piece and you get the connector out. Now we can take this apart on the bench and properly seal it. So there's a couple things you got to seal. Number 1 is this boot. Number 2 is this cable. It needs to be filled with sealant. And number 3 are these little vents. And if you do all that properly, this thing is totally waterproof. This groove in here actually has a good O-ring in it. For some reason Honda wanted to seal this part, even though they put vents on the very back of it, right next to it. So yeah, let's crack this thing open and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Alright, so I removed the piece of tape that was holding this and I slid this down here. You want to put a tube like this on your Ultra Black so you can squirt it up into the cable. The hardest part is sealing the wires. So what I do is I pump Ultra Black into here as far as I can, get it all goopy, and then I put a couple zip ties. And then once you pull this over, you pump more Ultra Black into there. The idea is to fill the gaps between the wires so the water doesn't work its way up the harness into the thing. This connection right here is actually pretty sealed with this boot. As you can see, it was nice and dry and clean in there. But I do put a little bit of Ultra Black around here, and then 1, 2, 3 vents. That's all you got to do. And once you get everything zip tied down, it'll squish the Ultra Black into the wires and it'll be sealed. Of course, let it dry, get it nice and hard in the sun before you reinstall it, and it's been a done deal. If you watch my videos, this thing literally lives underwater. This thing goes underwater a lot too. And I finally figured this out after putting 3 screens in the Pioneer 1000. So I had to have a solution. Of course, the other solution is just buy a Can-Am because their screens are factory waterproof. LOL. Only way a Can-Am is more waterproof than a Honda. Okay, well maybe the 4-wheel drive system too. Well, on the new Can-Am. I should note this is one of those jobs where you absolutely got to wear gloves because it gets everywhere. But here's how it looks. So that's full, that's full, that's full. I got a bead around the top of it, even though, like I said, that boot seals pretty good onto the plastic. And then the wires are just totally tacky and packed full. So this is packed full of goop to about here. So that's all full of goop, right, to help it seal. And then as this slides over, I'm going to pack that groove at the bottom there full of goop, and then put a bunch of little zip ties along of it, and it's going to be good to go. That's the trick right there. Okay, so that boot's on now, and you can see there's a gap at the top of it, but there is goop from here to here inside of this. So now we got to seal this plastic to this plastic. The way I do that is I'm going to take some more Ultra Black, pump it in those cracks, and then I'm going to wrap with electrical tape from here to about here. That's kind of how factory did it as well. Get that all compressed, and then a bunch of little zip ties, and this sucker is going to be good to go. All right, there it is. Looks kind of goofy and Frankenstein, but I promise you it works. You see how it's bulging? That's because it's, you know, it's squishing down on that Ultra Black, forcing it in between the wires. That's what the zip ties do. And yeah, everything else is sealed up good. Be careful when you push that boot on that your Ultra Grade doesn't come out of these holes, because obviously it's going to push air into there. So make sure your Ultra Grade looks like that, so those vents are nice and sealed. I put the little tab over one of the vents. Kind of nice. But yeah, that's a done deal. I'm just going to put that in the sun for 2 or 3 hours, reinstall it, and this screen is going to be good to go. So I won't have to worry about it going under. Up until now, I've been kind of careful with it. After I do this, I won't have to worry anymore.